Over the past 2 years, Congress has authorized historic levels of emergency relief to address the public health and economic challenges caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. This important emergency relief helped ensure that families could make ends meet and businesses could continue to pay their employees during the lockdowns. It also helped ensure that much-needed personal protective equipment could be secured and that life-saving vaccines could be developed to help get our nation closer to bringing the pandemic under control. The federal government's efforts to tackle this pandemic have been a monumental task, and our federal agencies have been working literally around the clock to help keep Americans safe and make sure that this critical aid reached families, small businesses, healthcare providers who needed it the most. There's no question that there were challenges in getting these programs off the ground, and that criminals wishing to take advantage of these resources made fraudulent attempts to access these funds. That's why I was proud to work with Senator Johnson to ensure that these important emergency relief bills included important oversight mechanisms like the Pandemic Response Accountability Committee, or PRAC, to ensure that these funds were being used as Congress intended and to prevent waste, fraud, and abuse. Along with the PRAC, each of the agencies represented here today have taken exhaustive efforts to ensure the effective use of nearly $7 trillion in COVID-19 relief funding that was passed by Congress that provided critical aid to Michiganders as well as Americans all across our country. Over the last 2 years, these key oversight bodies and agency inspector generals have issued more than 350 reports and more than 500 recommendations to improve our nation's pandemic response. This included efforts to uncover inefficiencies, such as outdated systems and infrastructure, and develop innovative practices to detect and prevent fraud and identity theft while improving transparency for all American people. The PRAC's Pandemic Analytics Center of Excellence has facilitated access to more than 150 million records that would otherwise have not been available to inspectors general and law enforcement. And the broader inspectors general community has made nearly 1,300 indictments and 1,000 arrests for pandemic-related fraud. While I'm grateful, very grateful for these successes, and our federal government got relief funds out the door as quickly as possible, the swift release of funding also exposed the potential for mismanagement and the lack of internal controls that left many programs vulnerable, especially to fraud. For example, instead of a thorough examination of an applicant's eligibility, many programs substituted this requirement with quicker self-reported information, which contributed to funds mistakenly being sent to deceased individuals, ineligible applicants, or fraudulent criminal schemes. In fact, the unemployment insurance program has consistently ranked as one of the highest risk federal benefits programs for known or suspected fraud, and the Department of Labor Office of Inspector General estimates that more than $87 billion may have been paid out inappropriately. Most shockingly, even before the release of the COVID-19 relief funding, some estimates note that unemployment insurance often has improper payment rate above 10%. Including for the 14 of the last 17 years. While some measures have been taken to remediate these very well-known problems, tracking down and recouping money has already been improperly spent, has proven to be a difficult and inefficient and ineffective solution. Congress and the administration must better understand the underlying causes that led to the fraud across these programs and put the government on stronger financial footing for any future spending priorities. I've been looking forward and look forward to this hearing today and to hear from our panel of experts who are going to discuss their roles in preventing improper payments and reducing fraud across the federal spending program. Ranking Member Portman, you are recognized for your opening comments.